Hello and welcome to Zevi's Garage.
I'm Eileen.
I'm Zevi, and today we're going to be showing off our recent purchase of a 2025 Honda Civic Sport. Originally, this review was supposed to come when we originally bought the car, but we procrastinated a bit and it's been 10,000 miles and 6 months since we originally got it, which allows us to provide some real-world feedback on what we think of the car and how it's performed. Because she is the primary driver of this car, I'll have her do most of the talking.
We replaced my $1,000 Mini with this car. I do miss the other car. It was my first ever car. I learned how to drive actually in a Mini, so having this upgrade, I guess I would say, because of course the last Mini had its issues, but of course I loved it. This is more of a reliable car for us. You know, when we're driving whatever distances and everything like that. And yeah, it's far more spacious than the Mini, of course. It's a bigger car. One thing for sure that is a bonus is the trunk space. I typically have a lot of stuff in my trunk. I play tennis and I coach tennis, so I'm always needing to keep my supplies in the car and everything like that. So it's very handy to have that big trunk, you know, to just have more room, you know, so I don't have to always shove things in the backseat of my car. One thing I like about it, one, is the color. It's very shiny, and so that's the first thing that attracted me to this car was the color and just, you know, the shimmer that it has in it. The way it drives is really smooth. It's very quiet too. I started noticing it more like towards the beginning of when we first got it. I was like, hey, this car is actually pretty, you know, quiet. Those are a couple of quick things that I like about it. Overall, I really love the car.
Hello, I'm Zevi, as you guys already know. I'm boyfriend. So, one of my favorite parts about this over the Mini is the backseat. There is a bunch of room. I very comfortably fit back here, like so. Plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom, and I could go on a road trip in the back of this 2025 Honda Civic if I needed.
Okay, well, let's go for a ride now. Wait, you can grab it.
Things about this car. It is Honda's K20 C engine, I want to say. It's a 2.0, makes about 158 horsepower, and I forget the torque figure. naturally aspirated. Not sure if it's a direct or port injected, but either way, I expect a lot of mileage out of this engine. Bought this car ultimately as a keeper. Really hope to see over 200,000 miles. I have no doubt that it will get there, even with the optioned CVT. Yes, we bought a CVT. I have always said that I will never buy a car with a CVT, but in the case of this was an exception. I trust this Honda CVT very well, or very much, should I say, and I think that it drives better than pretty much every CVT I've ever driven, and I'm very confident that it'll hold, well, not the power, because there's no power ultimately, which is a saving grace for the CVT, but it will, I don't
know. It's a fun car.
Yeah, it does the job. It's like I said, it's naturally aspirated, so although it's on the slower side, it's definitely not as quick as the Mini was. That thing had Arthur header and some other goodies, tune and everything, so you know, turbo cars with tunes are quick, but this is just simple, straight to the point. It's a commuter, economy car, whatnot. On a recent journey to Yosemite, we averaged 43 mpg, and it's not like it's a big sacrifice for anything really. It's still a fun car. It doesn't turn in as fast as the Mini will, but even here in the Angeles Forest, I have no issues driving around the turns. I'm not sketched out or anything. It's very confidence inspiring. One of my favorite aspects about the drivability is visibility, excellent, and the brakes. I like the brakes because they're very linear, so they're not touchy like a lot of modern BMW brakes and other German cars, and just a lot of vehicles in general. Everyone likes to over brake boost everything, and it makes the brakes very touchy and very weird to brake with, especially at lower speeds. This is very simple, everything feels right, rightfully so. It's a Civic, and that being said, for a Civic, it's quite a pretty good interior and good build quality. Mind you, back in 2011 and 2012, me and my parents had two Civics. We had a 2011 and a 2012. And I did not like them, I despised them. Least favorite car we've ever had. I'd rather have our 02 Prius back again than those. Front factor, the bumpers are falling off, deep pillar trims, everything is coming apart in those. But, once again, Honda has really upped the game with the modern Civics. They're very phenomenal cars in my opinion. For the price point, definitely worth it. Simple, it just drives well. So, let's move on to things that we dislike about the car. And then we'll do the likes. But honestly, ultimately, we pretty much like everything. Dislikes. First things first, it is slow.
Yes.
This car weighs, I forget how much, 3,400 pounds, maybe? Somewhere around there? It's anywhere between 3,000 and 3,400, but I think it's about 3,400 pounds. Decent enough torque for being a 2.0, but it's just, we're kind of used to faster cars now, so.
Yeah.
If this was your first car, you'd probably be okay. But once you get used to having cars with more power, it feels a little slow. So our main dislike is it being slow. Anything to say about that directly?
It's just a complete switch up from what I originally had, and even the settings that it has for sport mode, getting onto the freeway, you know, testing it out there, it kind of seemed like it needed a lot of
This needs a little help getting there.
yeah, you know, and so it's kind of the type of thing where it's like you have that, but it doesn't really do anything. But it's just different, you know.
All right. What's the next thing that we don't like?
Let's see. CarPlay, yeah.
So we both kind of don't like how they set up the CarPlay. Ultimately, you get wireless CarPlay if you had a higher trim Civic, like the Civic Sport Touring. But the Civic Sport Touring is like almost 40 grand, and that's kind of a lot of money for a Civic. I'm not trying to knock it. It's a great car. It has more power. It has the better sound system. It has the CarPlay, the better CarPlay, should I say? And I mean, get better stuff, you have to pay more money. That's how it works in the world. But for what it comes with, at least it does come with CarPlay. But the biggest complaint is it's wired. And it's not just the fact that it's wired CarPlay. It likes to disconnect.
A lot.
A lot.
The slightest little movement.
So whenever I am in here, for example, sorry to interrupt you, I place the phone on my lap and I very carefully try not to bump it. Works the most of the time. If I'm going on turns, sometimes I'll bump it and it disconnects. What else? Oh, my phone was over there. Tiny bit of snow over here.
The seat option over there, you can raise it, but on this side, you cannot.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why make it on one side and not the other side.
Ultimately, for what the car comes with, you're gonna expect little corner cutting, or not corner cutting, but cost cutting things, because like I said, the car is great value for the money. It comes with a lot of stuff. It comes with lane keep assist, which I'm not gonna try on this road. At least not right here. Try it at lower speed. How about that? We're in a pretty clear, quiet section. Let's wake it up. See if it'll follow the road. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna want to do this. No, it's gonna contest to this. I don't blame it. It's not gonna want to do it here, but it works pretty good on the freeway.
Yeah.
I love it's like, what are you doing?
It's like, I'm not familiar with this.
It's like, hey buddy, you're not gonna feel me driving off the edge. But yeah. The map. A Pro is costs for fill-ups are pretty cheap. Running regular fuel here in Los Angeles at a reasonable gas station. Not if you're not from LA, you're gonna be like, oh, you guys have $8 gas prices. No, we don't. We don't. It's just people love to be exaggerative and go to the most expensive place and post it online. But ultimately, where I go, it's about $4.20 a gallon. And with that, it's about $40 for a fill-up. If you run premium, which I do just because sometimes I want to, it's $45. It's not a big difference. So ultimately, you get that in about 300 miles range around town, and about up to 400-ish when you're on like a road trip or doing a lot of highway cruising. What do you think about the fuel? Pretty good? Your Mini did have a bigger tank.
Yeah.
So it had perception that it was going to last longer.
Yes.
But end of the day, that car was closer to $50-$60 to fill up. And this is only 40.
Yeah. Which is like
It's
better.
funny. It's funny because every time we fill up this car, like when it's low, it's like 10.4 gallons every time. It's like never anything different. It's always 10.4.
Yeah.
No need to add. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else directly you want to add?
Yeah, it's just, I really like the car. Being in it, you know, the spacing, I'm a tiny person, so of course the Mini worked for me, and then of course this works for me. Just the spacing, and just the layout, like the whole look of the car, really like it and everything.
Oh, it's pretty quiet.
Yes, yeah.
That's one thing I want to mention. A lot of other internet reviews and just people like owners, like in the 11th Gen Civic Facebook group, they say there's a lot of road noise, and I very strongly disagree.
No, not at all.
I've been in cars that are obviously quieter, like Rolls-Royce and Bentleys. Obviously, those are going to be really quiet, and you don't hear anything. But for a modern car, this is pretty darn silent. It doesn't come with red flats; it comes with normal tires. Way more noise insulation than the Minis. And ultimately, you hear the tires a tiny bit. That's all there really is. You don't get wind noise. Right now I'm in sport mode, so you hear the engine purring along a little bit, but you don't really hear anything else. Like it's a nice quiet drive. It's comfy, smooth. You don't get thrown around by bumps.
And even just being on the outside again.
I'll put it in eco. I don't know if you can hear the engine, but now it's gonna be quiet. As we tiptoe along here. It's just tire noise, just road noise. That's it.
Overall, I really like this upgrade that we got. I feel like it is I like this upgrade. Like, it's something that we both really did need, and it's just more convenient for us and everything. Specifically me, because I am the one that mainly drives it, and I have no big complaints or anything about it.
Pretty solid car out of the box.
Solid car. Like, I'd like to keep it and everything, and so yeah, I wouldn't want to change it.
Cool. And with all that information, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching our quick little review of our 2025 Honda Civic Sport. Thank you all for watching.
See you next time.